Hey friends, welcome back to another video. Today we are making chocolate covered, well, Christmas themed chocolate covered Oreos. I'm very excited to make these. They're very easy to make, and I know you all loved the previous video I made on the chocolate caramel covered apples. So I'm really excited today to show you how I do chocolate covered Oreos. Now, you could also do, instead of Oreos, another favorite thing I like to do is you just take two Reese's or two Ritz crackers, put some peanut butter between them and dip them like that. You could do that with this too. They are so good, but for today, for simplicity, we're just doing Oreos. And I have a whole pile of stuff here to show you, so we're gonna jump right in. I have both regular kind of Oreos and double stuffed Oreos. Some may have a preference as to which one, so we're just gonna do both just for the fun of it. And then we have some Oreo molds. These are going to give the chocolate covered Oreos a really perfect shape, a round, perfect shape. And we're gonna make them, we're also gonna dip them without these. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like to if you did use these or if you didn't use these. And I will have a link in the description for everything that I can, including these. We have our white chocolate and dark chocolate. This is Merkin's Coating Wafers. I got these both on Amazon. Links will be below. And I'm excited to try these. I haven't tried them yet, so we will see how those do. And what else do we have here? I got these, so since they're gonna be Christmas themed, we're gonna put some sprinkles on top. So I have some dye-free red, white, and green sprinkles, very festive. And I used these in the caramel apple video and they turned out amazing. They taste just like regular sprinkles. So I'm excited to be using those again. And then I have our dye-free food coloring, which we also used before and we'll use again. And I will show you what we're gonna do with that. And for the tops, I'm gonna be very, very simple with decorating these. I am not one that likes to get too crazy with decorating. If you're looking for what, how should I say it? Kind of elaborate decorating videos, this is not gonna be it. This is gonna be very basic, easy, simple. If I have to color more than a couple colors or do more than a couple things, I tap out pretty quickly. So we're just gonna do some simple sprinkles, some simple bows on top. They're gonna look really cute, I promise. But I'm gonna show you how easy they can be just doing that. But I got these little bow molds so we can make little chocolate covered or chocolate bows and put them on top. We're gonna make them look like presents. So I'm excited to use those. And then if you didn't have these, I found these at Walmart. They're just little red bows, icing decorations they're called. And these will work too for setting on top, so we'll use those. And I found some cute little gingerbread men. So we're gonna use those too and put them on top, see how they turn out. And what else do I have here? I have these little boxes to put them in. I'm thinking I can fit 4 in a box and make them look really cute, something giftable. So we're going to, hi Egret, little cat's meowing down here. So we're gonna see how these work. And then lastly, I have some very festive decorative ribbon and we will tie the boxes with that in the end. So as you can see, we got our work cut out for us, so we're gonna dig right in. I'm going to start with putting some of, what do we want to start with? Let's start with the dark chocolate, it's milk chocolate, but the brown chocolate. We're gonna start with that because it'll be a lot easier. I'm not gonna go as crazy decorating with it as I plan to with the white chocolate. So we're gonna start with that. And I'm gonna go ahead and put about, oh, how much is that? 2 cups worth in a bowl. I'm gonna work with 2 cups at a time. I don't wanna work with much more than that because chocolate just gets weird if you heat it, and if it sits too long it starts to get cold. So I'm going to start by putting this in the microwave for 30-second intervals. At first it's not going to look like it's melting, but we're going to keep doing 30-second intervals and we're going to stir between each interval. Just going to use a regular spoon like so. And every 30 seconds, we're gonna stir it. And I'm just gonna stir this until it's fully melted and incorporated. I'm not gonna add anything to it. Some people like to add like a neutral oil, like coconut oil, which makes it runny a lot faster and a lot easier to work with. And we may do that for one part, but since this is gonna be the foundation of the chocolate covered Oreo, the outside, I don't wanna add any more oil if I don't have to, just to keep them from getting greasy and, you know, filmy when you're touching them. So anyways, 30-second intervals, we're gonna stir between each interval, and once it's all melted, I will meet you back here. All right, we have our, don't wanna lose that. We have our melted chocolate. Also grab a spoon rest, that'll just be nice for having somewhere to set the tools as we work, and a tablespoon. So with this Oreo mold, I'm going to start with putting 1 tablespoon of chocolate into each one. So we're gonna go like that and just pour it in. I'll bring you in closer so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just taking about a tablespoon and doing that. Now that we have the chocolate poured out, I'm just gonna go like that to kind of start the process of getting any air bubbles out. You can see there's like an air bubble there. And then once we do that, it pops and goes away. So it's just a quick little step we want to make sure we do. And now that we have that set, it's time to put our Oreos in. Oops. So I think what I'm going to do is 6 and 6. 6 double stuffed and 6 regular. So these are the double stuffed Oreos. And we're literally just going to set them in the center and then just give like a little gentle press. We don't want to press too hard or else it'll, you know, hit the bottom and the chocolate won't be evenly on it. But we just want to kind of give it a little gentle push just to get the chocolate around it. And then we'll do the regular Oreos. I'm curious to see if this will make a notable difference in the size once they're done. I don't think it will, but I'm curious to see. So we will find out together. All right, these are the regular Oreos. You could also do this with the yellow ones. But there. So now I am going to actually let this set and set. I'm going to let it sit and set so that the chocolate is hardened, because what will happen is if we don't do that and put the next round of chocolate on top, these are going to want to float to the top and then it won't be even chocolate when you bite into it. So to avoid that, we're just gonna let these set until the chocolate hardens, and then we will move on to the next step. But while they are doing that, I'm just gonna set those aside. You could put them in the fridge if you wanted to speed it up, but I'm not gonna worry about that today. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just cover some Oreos the old school way with just regular dipping them in chocolate. So let me grab some parchment paper. And then I'm just gonna set one of these aside. I don't need the tablespoon the second, so we'll set that aside. And I'm going to grab a fork. And we will do, let's do the double stuffed Oreos. And we'll do 4 of those the classic way. Okay, this is literally all it's gonna be. We're just gonna plop them in. And I like to use a fork to flip them over. And we're just gonna work the chocolate around it and make sure it's all covered. And then we're gonna scoop it up. And then you can kind of tap like that, and that'll smoothen out the chocolate on top of it and get rid of all the excess at the bottom. You could also go like that. And then just give it a little wiggle. I'm just trying to get any excess. I don't know if you can see it, but there's just a little bit dripping under there. All right, and we will call, well, a little bit more. All right, we're gonna call that good. So then I'm just gonna set it there like so and repeat. I'm gonna do that with the rest of this chocolate here. Chocolate covered nuts is a fun thing that you can do if you know, say we dip the last one here and we have just a little bit of excess. Instead of throwing it away, we can put some nuts in there, stir it up, and then just put them in. You can make little piles, or you could put them in like a little muffin liner. Lots of creative things you could do. You could put raisins in there, make some chocolate covered raisins. That would be really good. If you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about them. That's gonna be the last one of these. And so while the chocolate is still wet, I'm gonna go ahead and put some sprinkles on them. So we will do, maybe we'll just do red and green. I love the bright green color of these. It kind of reminds me of the Grinch. So if you were gonna do something with these, something Grinch themed, this would be a great sprinkle to have. And we'll do some red. Nice little festive Oreos going on. And maybe for the fun of it, let's put some white on. So that'll be that for those. Those are our classic chocolate covered Oreos. Of course, the sprinkles are optional, but I think it's fun. We're going to move on to the white chocolate. Here we have it melted. I am stirring it because there's just a couple little clumps in it, but this is really runny. This is a lot runnier than the milk chocolate, and I didn't add anything to this, and I'm definitely not going to. That's really runny, which is perfect for what we're doing. So that works out. It was nice. This pack I ordered from Amazon came with 3 of these. We could do 3 dozen if we wanted, but I think we're just gonna do the 2 today. So I need to grab a clean tablespoon. Then we got our tablespoon, and we're just gonna go through and fill them up. Same as before. And all right, we got them all filled, and we're just gonna go around and smooth that out. These are the regular Oreos. And then because it's so runny, I'm not even gonna press these. And I keep saying so runny. It's not that runny. It's just runnier than the milk chocolate was. So I am gonna treat it a little bit differently. I'm not gonna press down on these. I'm just gonna set them in and just let them hang out like that, get them centered. But other than that, I'm not gonna press down at all. They'll do it on their own, making sure that there's no like air in them, so just a light tap. We're not pressing down at all. So all right, same with those. We're just gonna let those hang out and set out until we're gonna let them sit until they're set. Say that 10 times fast. And then we will go from there. I just checked the first set of Oreos we did, and we could do the next step with them now, but I'm gonna go ahead and let them set really good, because now we can make some bows. I guess I'll only need 1 of these. We'll go ahead and make a full set of bows with this. So I'm gonna grab a smaller bowl. I'm actually just gonna grab this little mason jar. This is just a little 4-ounce mason jar. And we will put some chocolate in it. I'm just gonna eyeball it, and I think a tablespoon will be plenty to do all these little bows. Since I already have red bows, I'm gonna go ahead and try to make some green bows. I might make some white bows too. Well, while we're here, I'm just gonna go ahead and make 2 white bows, and then the rest will be green. So I definitely could have probably got away with a tablespoon. So I'm just gonna do this. I probably should use the piping bag for this part. But we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna scrape off the excess. I'm gonna do that just to get any air bubbles out. All right, I'm gonna put in about that much. How many squirts would that have been? One, a few, a few drops of green. Oh, that squeeze, all right. And then I just wanna make sure you can see this okay. I'm just gonna squeeze this down in and get it all covered. I'm not gonna worry about flattening it out yet. We'll do that in just a second. And I'm just gonna take a knife and just go across the back like so. Just keep them all smooth. It's kind of risky doing this with the white bows next to it because we don't want to get the green on them. We'll just set these aside to let them cool. We're gonna go ahead and cover the tops of the milk chocolate. And I'm gonna have to microwave this. It already started to harden just a little bit. So I will go put that in the microwave for maybe like 15-20 more seconds. And just get that warm back up just a little bit. It doesn't need much at all. And I have a half tablespoon. And what we're gonna do is just take the half tablespoon, fill it up, and dump it on over the center. And we're not gonna worry about spreading it around. It'll do that naturally here in just a second once we get these all topped off. We're just gonna do this. All right, I can't believe it set that quick. All right, this ain't gonna work. So I'm gonna try to pop these in the microwave for like 20 seconds. Okay. Whew. That was not planned. I can't believe it set that quick. So learn from my mistakes. Don't stop to melt any chocolate. You gotta finish what you started, and then if you need more, do it once you do this part. So I'm gonna need a little bit more chocolate on some of these. I'm gonna call that good. If you were going to add sprinkles, now would be the time while it is still wet and we'll hold them. So let me think, what do I want to do with all these? I'm going to do half of them with sprinkles, and then we will drizzle white chocolate on the other half. Let's go around. It's red. All right, I'm gonna call that good. And I'm just gonna do a little tap. Some of them are kind of like piled up on top of each other. So this will just help kind of get them all in. And we will leave those like so. And then for the ones that I'm going to drizzle, I am going to let them solidify first. Onto the white chocolate ones. I'm gonna go ahead and reheat my white chocolate because it started to get hard. So let's go heat that up. And then since my half tablespoon is dirty, I'm just going to use my tablespoon and fill it up halfway. And then without stopping, we are going to go ahead and get that spread out. I just took these out of the fridge. They only needed to be in there for a couple minutes and they hardened. This one got a little carried away. I don't know what exactly happened other than it just spilled out and it doesn't look even. So we'll see if we can touch that up. If we can't, that'll just be the one that we get to eat. I'm gonna get a knife out. Okay, so if you can see here really closely, there's like these little ridges, like little lips that go around the edge. So I'm just gonna take this knife and try not to be too aggressive with it. Just go around and just kind of smooth that out. And you can even use your finger to smooth that out a little. But we're just gonna knock that off. I haven't figured out a way to avoid this step. I feel like it's just kind of the nature of the chocolate being in the mold that it's gonna do that. One thing to note is I don't even know which ones are double stuffed and which ones are single stuffed. I was originally thinking that the single stuffed wouldn't get filled up as far, and so then they wouldn't be as thick, but it seems like they all just ended up being about the same thickness. If there's a difference, I could not tell you. We have our half dozen of molded chocolate covered Oreos, and then we'll go ahead and put our sprinkled ones on there so you can see the difference. Definitely a lot smaller. Didn't use nearly as much chocolate. What I'm going to say is if you were putting these on a cookie tray, I would not do these. I would just do these because this is a lot of chocolate. These would be better suited, I think, if you're just gonna put like 4 in a box, or if you were doing like party favors, or, you know, having a party and, you know, everybody was just gonna grab one of these and maybe you would do something more elaborate. I would do these, but if it's for a cookie tray or anything where there's a lot, these would be perfect for that. I'm gonna put those aside for now. Get rid of my sprinkles here. And then set these. And actually, if we set them like that, you don't even notice the ridge. The only reason we had to cut it off the other ones is because they already had the sprinkles on. For the rest of these ones, I'm going to do a white chocolate drizzle. Melted some more white chocolate. We're just gonna get a little bit on the spoon like that. And you could do a couple practice drizzles in your bowl before going at it, just to kind of get a feel for the consistency of your chocolate. And we're just gonna kind of go like that. And I think that looks great. We're gonna stop with that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set these on our cutting board, and it's time to decorate the white ones. Here I have the royal icing sitting with a damp cloth on top. This will just help keep it good while I get everything else ready. I got my gel food coloring. I have 2 dishes here since we're going to use 2 different colors. 2 piping bags since I'm using 2 colors. First, I'm just gonna take this off and get this scooped off of the spatula here. Next, I will spoon a little bit into each jar. Next, I will put in the food coloring. We're gonna do 1 red and 1 green. I will start with 6 drops of this gel food coloring. We'll see how that turns out for us. So this is colored using vegetable juice. So I have a feeling that's as red as this is gonna get us. It is a little bit misleading because they call it red, but I don't know that you can get a red out of this. Because I mean, you saw how much I put in there. Well, let's keep going. Let's see if we dump the whole bottle in. No, I won't do that. Yeah, that's definitely like a pink. I just took a second to read reviews for this, and people said you're definitely not going to get the bright, vibrant colors like it says, which I do find a little misleading. It should say, you know, red, but you'll get this, green, but you'll get that. But it is what it is. So we have this dark pink color. We are just gonna roll with it. For the green, we have, I'd say that's pretty close. All right, so I will start with the green. Just make it easy to put that in. And I'm gonna cut just a wee little bit off because I can always cut off a little bit more. But if I cut off too much to start with, I'll have to start over. So if we go like that and go like, I should have a little bit wobbly, but I think I am gonna go ahead and go down the side. So we'll do, all right, just like that. Now set this down like so. Okay, so we got our 2 wrap presents there. I think since I have a little bit of green left, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a Christmas tree on one. You could get a toothpick to kind of fill this out, but since the tip of my bag is so small, I'm just gonna use it. And onto the red. All right, don't have anything really else decorative to add to them. So I think what I'm gonna do, I don't think that looks bad like that, even though, you know, the colors aren't quite the same. I think it's totally okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 more packages. And I'll just put a little bit of this on to help stick it on. We'll set it right in the middle, like so. And then I'm just gonna add some dots. There. That actually, I really like that. I really like that one. That one might be my favorite yet. So that's always fun and nice when that works out. If you wanted to be really careful, I would use the white icing for this, just so that, or you know, even white chocolate, just in case any would seep out. But I like to be risky. And there we go. So those would be cute to leave as is. I think what I'll do, since this one has a green bow and this one has a red bow, that I'll do dots on this one, dots on that one. And what else? We got 2 more left. We'll do 1 more bow one. I liked how that one turned out. And there we go. Another one. The rest of the icing that I did not color, I'm going to put it in this airtight container and it'll stay good at room temp. You don't even have to refrigerate it for a couple weeks. While I'm waiting for the bows to set on those, I figured I'd go ahead and get out these boxes and see how they work. I did see online that you can get some really cute festive ones, but they were all taller and I didn't want this to be too tall. And then also what I like about these is since they're white, I can use them for anything. And all I need to do is simply change up the bow that I'm using. And yeah, So we will just see if we can figure this out without the directions. Looks like a fairly basic box here. Bottom of this, something you could put in the bottom of this is some crinkle paper. That would look really nice. What I have here are some plain white muffin cups. And I thought what I could do is stick one of these at the bottom. Those are really thick. And then put one of each in. So we will start with, we'll do these. And there we go. That's like really nice. You got yourself a nice little festive Christmas gift there. I would be elated if somebody gave me one of these. I need to figure out, did I do these wrong? And then it just stays shut like so. So there you go. I think it's time for some ribbon. And then I will do that. And then I'm just gonna tie it in a classic bow so that to open it, you can just untie it and not have to cut it off. We'll go kind of like that. And there we have it. And then we will cut these down about there. And then I always like to, I don't know what this is called, but I like to fold it in half and then cut it like that so that there's like a little point there. All right, and there we go. We got one little set done. I absolutely love this. This is so nice. I would be so excited to get one of these for Christmas. Brooke says we need a gingerbread on that one, so we will put a gingerbread on there. And ta-da! Yeah?
Go get it.
Okay. And that is a wrap on another project. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while we make some awesome chocolate covered Oreos. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you get a chance, feel free to subscribe. I would love your support, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.